Hey guys, Mr. Backerberg here. In this video, we're going to approximate limits graphically. So sometimes we run into limits where we don't really have a whole lot of algebraic techniques available to us, or it might not be super apparent what we should try to do in order to evaluate the limit. But as we take a look at this one, we've got the limit of 1 plus x being raised to the power of 1 divided by x. And we're doing that limit as x is approaching 0. But if I tried to direct substitute that 0 in, we would run into an issue with that power because we would end up with 1 over 0 as part of that power. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this expression and we're going to type that into our calculator to get a picture of what the graph would look like. So in my calculator, I already have that typed in. If I hit graph, I end up with a picture that looks something like this. Now I'm looking at the limit as x is approaching 0. So I want to find the x value of 0 right in the middle of my picture, and I'm going to zoom in on it so that I can get a better look as to what's happening. Now my calculator shows that there's a hole in the graph or some sort of issue happening in the graph, and that's because we can't actually plug 0 into this expression. But if I zoom in and I try to trace along that graph to figure out what y value we get really close to as our x value keeps getting closer and closer to 0. Here I've got an x with some scientific notation, so I know that's going to be a really small number. And if we look at that y value, we've got a y value of about 2.718-ish if we round that off. So I'm going to estimate that the limit is going to be really close to that value. Taking a look at this example, we've got the limit of the sine of x over x as x is approaching 0. I can't just do direct substitution in here because I would get 0 on the bottom of that fraction. I also don't have a ton of other algebraic techniques that I might be able to use in order to help me with this one. So we're going to look at a picture of the graph. So in my calculator, I already have that typed in. We do have to be in radian mode to graph this out. When I hit graph, I'm going to get a picture that looks something like this. I want to look at what's happening as we get really close to 0. So I'm going to find that x value of 0, and I'm going to try to zoom in on the picture, and I'm going to zoom and trace to try to help me approximate what that limit would be. So I'm going to try to approach 0 from each side. Looks like I get 0.99 or 0.999. So it looks like as we're getting closer and closer to 0, it looks like that y value maybe gets closer and closer to 1. So I'm going to go ahead and say the limit for this one is 1. That's going to be it for this video. Thanks for watching.